Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we'll explore the concept of negative stocks in SAP MM. We'll understand what negative stock means in SAP, the scenarios where it's typically used, and the financial entries that are posted when we handle negative stocks. We'll also highlight the key precautions you need to take while working with negative stocks in the system. So let's get started. So first of all, let's understand what is a negative stock in SAP. So to understand that, let's take an example. Let's say that your company manufactures bicycle for which you require bearings on a continuous basis. Now let's say that you have placed order on a vendor for supply of bearings. The vendor supplies 100 numbers of bearings to your warehouse. Now let's say that when you receive these bearings in your warehouse, due to some issue, you are not able to create the GR in the system. Let's say that you ask the vendor to supply 100 numbers of bearings, but you did not prepare formal SAP PO. Or let's say that you have prepared the PO, but the PO is not released. Or maybe some other reason, you are not able to post the goods receipt in the system when you receive these 100 numbers of bearings in your warehouse. So what has happened is, although you have received these 100 bearings, so you have a physical stock of 100 numbers in your warehouse, but the SAP stock is nil. So you can see here 100 numbers received physically but not posted in SAP. And because of this, you have physical stock of 100 numbers in your warehouse, but the SAP stock is nil. So as on date, you do not have any stock shown in SAP. Now, since these bearings are required on regular basis, so a requirement has come from your plant for 10 numbers of bearing. So what you will do now? You do not have any bearings in your stock in SAP, but you have these bearings physically available. Now in standard system, SAP will not allow you to post a goods issue which is greater than the stock which is available in the system. That is, whatever quantity you have in your SAP system, you cannot post goods issue more than that quantity. But here what you can see is we have SAP stock as nil, but our plant requires 10 numbers of bearings and we must issue these bearings to keep our production running. So how can we address this issue? To address this issue, we'll have to activate something called as negative stocks against this material code. Once we activate the negative stock, system will allow to post the goods issue even if you do not have any stock in SAP. That is, system will allow you to post a goods issue for a quantity which is higher than what is available in SAP. So you can see here, to issue this material to the plant, you will have to activate negative stock and then post goods issue for 10 numbers in SAP. Now once you post this goods issue, then what will be the status? Then you will have a physical stock of 90 numbers and a SAP stock of negative 10. Okay, so this particular stock is called a negative stock, and this negative stock will always tell you that a goods receipt has to be done in the system. This basically works as a demand for stock in your system. Whenever you will see a negative stock against any material code in your plant, you have to understand that a goods receipt has to be done at a later stage. And this negative stock will always tell you that a goods receipt is pending. You have to remove all the discrepancies that happened when you were posting the goods receipt, and then you have to post this goods receipt. So basically, activating negative stocks helps you to keep your production running at this stage, and at the same time tells you that you have to do a goods receipt at a later stage. So whenever your discrepancy which happened at this stage is rectified, you will post the goods receipt. That is, you will post GR for 100 numbers in SAP. And then what will be the status? Then your physical stock will be 19 numbers and your SAP stock will become negative 10 plus 100 for which you did the GR now, and then the SAP stock will also become 90 numbers. Now always remember that a negative stock in SAP is an exceptional situation. You have activated the negative stock and then created negative stock against a material because of some exceptions that has happened in the system. You were not able to post the goods receipt, but you require the material in your plant, and that is why you took an exceptional decision to mark the negative stocks in the material and then post a goods issue. Whenever you run your stock report and find any negative stock, you have to find the root cause for non-posting of GR, rectify that root cause, and then post the goods receipt. So you can see here, a negative stock occurs when you post a goods issue with a quantity that is larger than the book inventory, that is the SAP inventory. And here you can see negative stock balances may be required if for organizational reason you enter goods issue before the corresponding goods receipt. and the material is already physically located in the warehouse. This we already saw in the example just now. Then negative stocks always indicate that physical movements have to be entered in the system at a later stage. As we discussed, whenever you see a negative stock balance in your system, you have to understand that a goods receipt is due. You have to post a goods receipt which could not be posted due to some exceptional situations. Okay, and you always have to enter that goods receipt at a later stage. And finally, you see, if you work with negative stock balances, you have to ensure that you do not have any negative stock on the balance sheet key date. Whenever you are drawing your balance sheets or whenever you are closing your accounts, you should not have any negative stock in your system. Whenever you see a negative stock, you have to regularize that or liquidate that with a goods receipt. You have to find the root cause that why this negative stock was created, and then you have to rectify and regularize that negative stock. And also, before you carry out a physical inventory count, you should not have any negative stock. So whenever you're doing a physical inventory, you have to regularize those negative stocks and then start the physical inventory count. So let's see what all necessary settings are to be done in the system to activate this negative stock. So first you have to do a customizing. You can see here, you have to allow negative stocks at valuation area, plant, storage location or special stock level. So to have negative stocks in your plant, you must activate that at your plant and storage location level. You can also have special negative stocks also. You will have to activate negative stocks for special stock indicators also. We'll see in SAP how we can do this setting. The T code to do this configuration is OMJ1. Now once you have done this configuration, you will have to activate the negative stocks also in the material master. And this activation will be done at plant level in the general plant data / storage to view. And the T code to do this will be MM01 to create a material or MM02 to change the material. So you can see here, you'll have to do a configuration and then you'll have to activate this negative stock in the material master. So now let's see in SAP how we can do these settings and manage the negative stocks. So let's move on to SAP now. So first of all, let's create the material code. So we'll go to T code MM01. We'll select basic data 1, purchasing, storage 1 and accounting 1. We'll enter the plant and the storage location. We'll enter the description, unit of measurement. We'll enter the material group. Let's enter a valuation class here. And here you can see we have price control as V, that is the material is managed at moving average price. You can see here. So we'll enter a moving average price here. So let's enter 10 rupees. And let's save this material code. So we have created this material. Now let's verify the stock of this material. So we'll go to MMBE and we'll execute. So you can see we do not have any stock available under this material code. Now as per our business requirement, we have received these bearings in our warehouse, but for some reason the goods receipt has not been posted and we require 10 numbers of bearings in our plant. So basically we have to post a goods issue without having any stock available in the system. So first let's try to do that. So we'll go to MyGo. We'll select goods issue, other, and we'll enter movement type as 201 here. We'll enter the material code. We'll enter the quantity. We'll enter the plant and the storage location. And here we'll enter a cost center. So what we are doing is we are trying to issue 10 quantity against this material code where we do not have any stock available. So let's click on check. So you can see here system gives me a standard error message. That is, there is a deficit of unrestricted use stock of 10 numbers against this material code, plant and storage location combination. So this is the standard error which system gives you whenever you try to post a goods issue for a quantity which is higher than your available stock quantity. And you can see here we do not have any stock available and we are trying to post a goods issue for 10 quantity. So you are getting this error of deficit of 10 quantity under unrestricted use for this material, plant and storage location combination. So what we have to do now to allow this goods issue, we'll have to activate negative stock for this combination now. That is for material, plant and storage location combination. We'll have to allow negative stocks and then only system will be able to post this goods issue. So to do that, first we'll have to do a configuration. So we'll go to SPRO. We'll go to SAP reference IMG, materials management, inventory management and physical inventory, goods issue and transfer postings. And here you can see you have this configuration for allowing negative stocks. So we'll execute this. So you can see here we have to activate negative stocks against the valuation area. And as we have seen in our video on valuated and non-valuated material, that the valuation area can be defined either as a plant or a company code. So let's verify that first. So we'll go to SPRO, SAP reference IMG, enterprise structure, definition, logistics general, and you can see here defined valuation level. If I execute this, you can see valuation area is a plant. So wherever you see valuation area, it is equivalent to your plant. So you can see here this valuation area is basically the plant code. So we'll enter our plant code here. So to activate negative stocks against our plant, first we'll have to activate this checkbox here against the valuation area. Then if you select this line and double click on this plant folder, you can see you can activate negative stocks for all these special stocks also. So you have all these special stocks against these special stock indicators where you can also allow negative stocks. Then if we double click on the storage location, you can see for each plant you have to activate negative stocks for each of these storage locations. So to activate negative stocks, you have to mark the indicator against the plant and the storage location also. So you can see here we have the storage location. So to activate negative stocks, we'll have to mark this checkbox here, and we already have marked against our valuation area. You can see here. So we'll save this configuration. Now this configuration you can also access through T-code OMJ1. Currently we went to this configuration through the SPRO tree, but you can also access this configuration through T-code OMJ1. So let me just show you that. So we'll go back, we'll enter OMJ1 and you can see the same configuration is opened by the system. So now negative stocks are allowed against our plant and storage location combination. Now what we have to do is we have to allow negative stocks for our material code also. So for that we'll go to MM02. We'll enter this material code and we'll have to go to this view, that is general plant data storage 2 view. So we'll click enter. We'll enter the plant and we'll press enter. So you can see here you have a checkbox called negative stocks in plant. So to allow negative stocks for this material under this plant code, you have to activate this checkbox here. So we'll activate this and we'll save this material master. So now we have activated the negative stocks against the plant and storage location combination, and we also have activated negative stocks for our material code and plant combination. Now let's post that goods issue. So we'll go back. We'll again go to MyGo. We have goods issue other with movement type 201. We'll enter this material code. We'll enter the quantity here, the plant and the storage location, and we'll enter the cost center here. And now let's click on check. So now you can see that error message has been converted to a warning message. Now system is giving me a warning that there is a deficit of unrestricted use stock of 10 numbers against the material code, plant and storage location combination. This error message is converted to the warning message only because we have activated negative stocks against this plant and storage location combination through the configuration and against this material code and plant combination in the material master. So now let's click on post. So you can see here we have posted this goods issue. Now let's verify the stock in MMB. So we'll refresh this screen and now you can see we have a negative stock of 10 quantity. You can see here now, since the negative stocks have been activated and you have posted a goods issue of 10 numbers when you had nil stock in this plant, now system has updated the stock as negative 10 quantity. Let's verify this stock in MB52 also. So we'll go to MB52 and let's execute this. And you can see here we have a negative 10 quantity under unrestricted use column with a value of minus 100 rupees. Since we entered the moving average price as 10 rupees in the material master, so system took that moving average price and then calculated the value of this negative 10 quantity. And if you go back in the MB52 transaction also, you can see we have a checkbox here that is for display negative stocks only. So as a warehouse manager, you can use MB52 to monitor all your negative stocks by activating this checkbox and then executing this transaction. Let's say that you only want to see the materials which have negative stocks available as of now. So what you can do is you can activate this checkbox and then execute this transaction. Then system will filter out only the negative stocks. So if I select this checkbox and remove this material code and run this report for the whole plant, system will filter out only those material codes where negative stock is lying. Let's execute this. And you can see we did not enter any material code, but system has given output for this material only because this material only has a negative stock available in the system. And you can see there is a negative quantity of 10 with a negative value of 100. Now this negative quantity tells you that you have to do a goods receipt to regularize this negative stock. So what we have to do is we have to create a purchase order and do the goods receipt for the quantity that we received physically in our warehouse. That is the 100 quantity that we received in our warehouse physically, and we did not create goods receipt for that 100 quantity. That goods receipt we have to do now. Okay. So first of all, let's create a purchase order. So we'll go to ME21N. We'll enter the vendor code. We'll enter the material code here. Let's enter a PO quantity. And in this PO, we'll enter net price as 15 rupees. Now remember, we have entered moving average price as 10 rupees in our material master. And in the purchase order, we are entering the prices which have been quoted by the vendor, that is 15 rupees. We'll enter the plant and let's save this PO. Now let's display this purchase order. So we have created the purchase order against which we already have received the material physically, but we did not do the goods receipt. And we already have posted a goods issue for 10 quantity. Now let's post the goods receipt for this 100 quantity and see how system updates your stock. So we'll go to MyGo. We'll select goods receipt. Against purchase order, we'll enter this PO number. We'll press enter. So we are creating goods receipt for 100 quantity. Let's click on item OK. Let's enter the storage location here and we'll post this document. So now we have posted this goods receipt. Now let's see the stock position. So we'll again go to MMBE and we'll refresh this screen. So now you can see system has updated the stock of this material as 90 numbers. And this is the physical stock that we have available in our warehouse. So now we have regularized that negative stock by creating the goods receipt. And now our physical stock is matching with what is available in SAP. Let's also verify the value of this stock. So we'll go to MB52. Let's enter the material code. and let's execute. So now you can see system is not giving me any output. And why is this happening? Because I have this checkbox activated here. That is for displaying negative stocks only. And now since I have done this goods receipt, so I don't have any negative stock available. So we'll deactivate this checkbox and we'll execute. And now you can see we have a unrestricted use stock of 90 numbers, and here you can see the value of this 90 numbers is 1350 rupees. Now if you remember, we had the minus 10 quantity at total value of minus 100 rupees. This time we added 100 quantity with total value of 1500 rupees. If you go to the purchase order and let's reopen this. If you go to the header, you can see in the status tab our delivered quantities 100 numbers with total value of 1500 rupees. So basically we added 100 quantities with 1500 rupees to a quantity of negative 10 with minus 100 rupees. So our final value would have been 1400 rupees. But if you go to the MB52 output, you can see our value has been updated to 1350 rupees only. Now why this has happened? So to understand this, we'll have to understand how financial entries happen in case of negative stocks. Now let's see what financial entries happen when we deal with negative stocks. Now for materials maintained at a standard price, the financial postings for negative stocks work the same way as they do for regular stocks. As you can see here, when you do the goods issue, inventory postings will happen at standard price. And then when you do the goods receipt at a later stage, all inventory postings will happen at standard price for the full PO quantity. Even if you have a negative stock available to which you will be adding the stocks, but the value will be picked from the standard price as maintained in the material master. And the GRIR posting will happen at PO price for full PO quantity. And if there is a difference between the standard price and the PO price, then that differential amount will be posted to price difference account. This is similar to what happens for standard price material which have positive stocks also. So for materials at standard price, the postings happen similar to your normal stocks. But you can see here, if materials are maintained at MAP, whenever you issue a material which is leading to creation of negative stocks, inventory posting will happen at MAP only. But when you do the goods receipt, up to the negative stock quantity, inventory posting will happen at MAP only, and it will not consider the PO price. So let's say that you have negative 10 quantity in your system, and then you are doing GR for 100 quantity, and the PO price is different from MAP. Then for this 10 quantity which is there as negative stock, for that 10 quantity, system will consider prices from the MAP only. System will ignore what is there in the purchase order. For the remaining 90 quantity, system will consider the value from the purchase order. So this is different from what happens when you have a positive stock in the system. When you have a positive stock or regular stock, if you post a GR for the full GR quantity, system takes value from the purchase order. But when you have a negative stock, then up to the negative stock quantity, system will take value from its MAP, and the remaining quantity, if it is there in the purchase order, for that the system will take the unit price from the purchase order. Now you can see the GRIR posting has to happen at PO price only for the full PO quantity. Why? Because you have to pay to the vendor for the full quantity at the PO price only. But for inventory posting, it is divided into these two lines. And if there is a difference between some of these two postings and the GRIR posting, then in this case also you will have a differential value getting posted to the price difference account. So you can see here, inventory posting minus GRIR posting will go to the price difference account. So for material at MAP also, which have negative stocks available in the system, when you do GR, you will find that price difference account is also posted. And this will happen because up to the negative stock quantity, system will take value from the MAP, and for remaining quantity, system will take value from the purchase order. So now let's see how the stock value got determined in our current case that we saw in this video. So initially we did not have any stock, and the moving average price that we entered in the material master was 10 rupees. When we created the material, we entered the moving average price as 10 rupees. Then after activating negative stocks, we did a goods issue for 10 pieces. So the SAP stock was changed to minus 10, and the value that was posted was 100 rupees. This value was determined by multiplying this quantity with the moving average price, and the inventory value was updated to minus 100. And you can see this financial entry was posted. You have a credit entry against inventory and a debit entry against the consumption account. Then finally we did a goods receipt for 100 pieces at 15 rupees per piece. We entered this unit price in the purchase order. So our final quantity became minus 10 plus 100, that is 90 numbers. Now whenever you post a goods receipt against a purchase order, the value is taken from the PO and multiplied with the quantity. But here you can see system posted in a different way. System did this calculation to arrive at an inventory posting of 1450. As we discussed just now, for materials which are managed at moving average price and which have a negative stock, if you post a goods receipt up to the negative stock, system will pick the price from the moving average price which is there in the material master. So you can see we posted 100 pieces. For the first 10 piece, that is the negative quantity which has to be compensated, system took value from the material master, and that is the moving average price of 10 rupees per piece. So for first 10 quantity, the unit price is 10 rupees from the material master, and for the remaining 90 quantity which we posted in this GR, the unit price was taken from the purchase order, and hence system calculated total inventory posting value as 1450 rupees. Okay, so this is different from what happens for normal stocks. For normal stock, whenever you will post a GR, system will calculate the inventory posting value from the PO unit price and the GR quantity. System will multiply the GR quantity with the PO price and then arrive at the inventory posting value. But if you have a negative stock available, then up to that negative stock, system will take values from the material master, that is the moving average price, and for the remaining quantity for which GR has been posted, system will take the value from the purchase order. And hence in this case, system calculated total inventory posting value as 1450, and when this value was added to your existing inventory value, the final inventory value became 1350 rupees, which we saw in the MB52 output. So in this way, system calculated the final value of your inventory of 90 pieces to 1350 rupees, and then changed the MAP of this material to 15 rupees. And if you go to the material master also, you can verify this moving average price. Let's see in the material master. So we'll go to MM03 and we'll open accounting 1. And you can see here the moving average price has been updated to 15 rupees, and the total value for this 90 quantity is 1350 rupees. Now let's see the 5 postings that happened during this goods receipt. So you have a inventory posting of 1450 rupees as a debit entry, and you have a credit entry for GRIR account for the value of 1500 rupees. Now this 1500 is derived from the purchase order. Because you have placed a purchase order for supply of 100 pieces with unit price as 15 rupees, so the total value that you have to pay to the vendor is 1500 rupees, and hence system will post 1500 rupees against the GRIR account. This entry you will clear through the Miro transaction and then create liability against the vendor. So you can see here the inventory posting has happened for 1450 rupees as per this calculation, but the GRIR posting has happened as per the PO prices, and that is 1500 rupees for 100 quantity. And the difference between these two lines will be posted to a price difference account. So you can see here for materials managed at moving average price, if you have a negative stock and then you post the goods receipt, if you post a goods receipt with a PO price which is different from the existing moving average price, then you will have an entry in the price difference account also when you post the goods receipt. Now let's verify this FI entry that got posted when we did GR for this 100 quantity. So let's go to display and we'll press enter. So you can see this is the GR document. Now if you go to the document info and click on FI documents, and if you double click on accounting document, so you can see here you have a debit entry of 1450 rupees against the inventory GL and a credit entry of 1500 rupees against the GRIR account. And the differential amount between these two lines is posted to the price difference account. Calculation of the inventory posting we already have discussed just now. And because of this posting, a differential entry is posted to the price difference account. And you can see here the transaction keys are BSX for the inventory posting, WRX for the GRIR posting, and PRD for the price difference account posting. So in this way, we have covered the concept of negative stocks. I hope that you've understood this concept, and I hope that you've liked this video. If you like my videos, then please like and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video with another topic on SAP MM. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thanks a lot.